Well, dozens of people were injured in that hotel attack in Mogadishu. The survivors have been speaking about the terrifying experience.
At a hospital in the capital, Mogadishu, dozens of wounded are being treated. They survived a nearly 12-hour siege by militant group Al-Shaabab.
24 people were admitted to the hospital and 5 of them died on the way to the hospital, and we are still busy treating them, and some of them were transferred to other hospitals in the city.
Those who were near the blast recall a horrifying incident.
I was driving a car and a colonel security officer stopped me, saying the 2 cars just in front of me were suspect. As I stopped, there was a blast and the colonel died on the spot. The whole place turned into smoke and gunfire. I did not think I would survive. Inside my ruined car, they got me out and my right eyeball was in my hand. Doctors put my eyeball back into the socket, stitched and bandaged, as you can see. The colonel died in front of me and another security guy also died inside my car.
Some families are still searching for their loved ones who got caught in the crossfire.
My brother is nowhere to be seen. He was driving a car at the scene. We found a dead body inside his ruined car, but after taking it home, we found it was somebody else who looked like him. We returned the body. When we heard the blast, we called both his phones, but they were off. Now we are told there was found a hand and a leg that looks like his. I'm rushing back to the blast scene.
Al-Shabaab has once again shown its ability to carry out deadly attacks in the heart of the city. Tuli Shabalala, CGTN.
Well, CGTN's Abdulaziz Billo is following this story and joins us now with the latest from Mogadishu. Abdulaziz, who exactly is running the country's security agencies now that the police chiefs have been fired and the army chief and the defense ministers have quit?
Well, Karen, this is by far the biggest security crisis to ever rock the Somali government in years. In less than a month, earlier this month, the defense minister and the head of the army resigned in unclear circumstances. And a few days after their resignation, on 14th October, the biggest terrorist attack to ever rock Mogadishu happened, killing more than 358 people, with 55 still missing. So that death toll is being estimated to be around 400 here by authorities following that deadly blast in downtown Mogadishu. And immediately after that, the government reinstated a new army chief into that position to fill the void that was left after the resignation of the head of the army chief. But that itself didn't slow down the momentum of the militant group. The president, shortly after 14th October's attack, declared war against Al-Shaabab and went to neighboring countries that have troops here contributing to AMISOM to seek support to wage that offensive that is being planned right now. But that itself hasn't yet stopped the militant group Al-Shaabab. A few days later, they launched one of a brazen attack on a high-profile hotel in downtown Mogadishu. And the cabinet, in reaction to that attack, was the firing of the army chief, of the intelligence chief, and the police boss here in the capital, Mogadishu. Now, many are supporting the decision by the government because they want accountability, and they're saying that the only way that accountability can be ensured is if individuals tasked with ensuring a law and order in the capital are not fulfilling their work, then they should go. But many are of the view that it's the institutions and the government strategy itself that needs to be re-strategized so that the government can be able to fight the Al-Shaabab. But for now, their deputies are in charge of the specific dockets that were the officials were fired yesterday. The deputy head of intelligence has replaced the former chief, and the deputy police boss is now leading the stabilization here of the capital, Mogadishu. So this, Karen, is indeed one of the biggest security crises to ever rock the Somali government that's in office for just 9 months. And we all know that President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, throughout his campaign pledge and over the past months, has been saying that his government's priority is security. But from the look of things, definitely, Karen, it seems that the government will need to go back to the drawing board.
Let's talk about the African Union mission. It's officially slated to begin its exit from Somalia in about a year's time. Is this still viable, considering the current state of Somalia's security agencies?
Well, Karen, over the past couple of days, the president was indeed outside the country, and he went to Kampala and Ethiopia and Djibouti. These are three countries that have contributed troops to the 22,000 African Union peacekeeping mission known as AMISOM. And one of the main message that President Farmajo carried along his delegation was he needed the support of AMISOM so that he can be able to launch the offensive that he declared on the 14th of October. Now, how he will achieve this remain the biggest question, because for one, his government is has not yet prioritized security like the way the president was reiterating over his campaign pledges. But the government has not yet announced the number of soldiers that it has in its hands so that it can be able to launch this offensive. So it will largely rely on the peacekeeping mission known as AMISOM here in Somalia. And the president of Uganda was willing to send 5,000 more troops to add to his already 6,000 troops here on the ground. That will have made Uganda the biggest contributor of AMISOM with over 11,000 forces here in Somalia. Now, how that will be achieved remains the biggest question. But for now, the African Union, their exit will not be happening anytime soon, according to experts here, because for one, the government has not yet created a national army that can replace AMISOM in areas that it's currently controlling. Now, if we take a critical look at some of the biggest capitals here in the capital, they are all under the hands of AMISOM. If we look at Kismayo, we have the Kenyan Defense Forces stationed there. We look at Mogadishu, we have the Ugandans and Burundians controlling here, and Beledweyne and Hiran towards the south, and the central we have the Djiboutian and Ethiopian troops there. So the Somali soldiers are not yet in any position to fill the void that will be left by AMISOM's exit. So many are calling for the government to take a different approach and to lobby the African Union and the international community to assist the government stabilize the country and provide a national army that can be able to take fully charge of AMISOM activities here in the country, and an end to an arms embargo that can be able to support the Somali National Army and the police to be able to fight the Al-Shaabab head-on, Karen.
Okay, Abdul Aziz there in Mogadishu, thank you very much for that update.